You know, there are some movies that just stick with you. They get under your skin and you just can't stop thinking about them. Denis Villeneuve's 2013 thriller Prisoners is absolutely one of those films. It's a dark, heavy story, and a huge part of why it stays with you is its final, shocking moment, an ending that people have been arguing about ever since it came out. So let's just dive right into that question, the one everyone asks. To really get to the bottom of what happens at the end of Prisoners, we've actually got to start right there, at the very end, with a single sound, followed by silence, that basically defines the entire movie. Okay, so picture the final scene. It's almost totally quiet. Detective Loki is standing in the snow, the forensics team is packing up, and the case seems, for all intents and purposes, closed. But just as he turns to leave, he stops. He hears something. It's faint, you can barely make it out. It's a whistle. And then, bam, the screen cuts to black. It just leaves you hanging, wondering, what on earth just happened? Now, to understand why that tiny little whistle carries so much weight, we need to rewind. We have to go all the way back to where this whole nightmare kicked off, on what was supposed to be a completely normal Thanksgiving day. So you've got two families, the Dovers and the Birches, celebrating the holiday together. Their two little girls, Anna and Joy, asked to go play outside. A little while later, everyone realizes they're gone, vanished. The only lead anyone has is this beat-up old RV that was parked down the street. The police, led by Detective Loki, track it down and arrest the driver, a guy named Alex Jones. But here's the problem. They find zero evidence in the RV. Nothing. So they have to let him go, and the investigation hits a dead end almost immediately. And this is the exact moment where the entire film just fractures right down the middle. The police investigation is stalled, and one of the fathers, Keller Dover, decides he's not waiting around. If the law can't find his daughter, he's gonna do it himself, and he'll do whatever it takes. So we end up with these two investigations running at the same time, on totally opposite tracks. On one side, you've got Keller Dover, a man of faith who's so desperate he just takes the law into his own hands. He kidnaps Alex Jones and tortures him because he is 100% convinced this is the guy. On the other track, you have Detective Loki, who has to do things by the book, chasing down every lead, working against the clock. This one quote pretty much tells you everything you need to know about Keller. He's a survivalist, a prepper. His whole philosophy is built around not trusting the system. So when that system fails him, all of that preparation morphs into something really dark. He becomes a vigilante, and in his mind, it's not just justified, it's the only way to save his little girl. But Keller's actions have consequences, and they create this huge moral problem. The other family, the Birches, are completely torn. The dad, Franklin, kind of goes along with it, but his wife, Nancy, she puts her foot down. She refuses to be part of it. It just goes to show how Keller's personal crusade for justice starts to destroy the very people he's trying to protect. Now, on the other side of things, we've got Loki, and there's this really fascinating little detail about his character. You notice that nervous eye twitch he has? Well, get this. Jake Gyllenhaal completely improvised that. It's not just some random quirk, it's like a little window into his soul, showing us the immense crushing pressure he's under. I mean, we learn he's never had a case he couldn't solve, and this one is pushing him to the absolute limit. So while Keller is going down this very dark rabbit hole, Loki's official investigation starts to untangle this terrifying web of clues, and everything seems to revolve around one cryptic recurring symbol, a maze. Man, Loki's path is just as twisted as the mazes he's investigating. First, he finds this guy Bob Taylor, who's obsessed with them, but it's a dead end. Turns out he was another victim, just acting out his own trauma. At the same time, Keller gets this really bizarre clue from Alex, who whispers, "I'm not Alex." But the real game changer? That comes when Loki connects a maze necklace from a totally different case to the husband of Alex Jones's aunt, Holly. And that one single connection leads him right to her front door. And the truth is just horrifying. It's Holly Jones, the sweet old lady who's the monster. Turns out, after she and her husband lost their own son to cancer, they started waging a war against God. They kidnapped kids to make other parents suffer and lose their faith, just like they did. She ends up drugging Loki, and when Keller shows up looking for answers, she traps him in a hidden pit in her yard. A film this dark, this complex, with these gut-punch performances, you better believe it got people talking. It wasn't just seen as another thriller. Critics saw it as a really profound and deeply disturbing movie. Of course, everyone praised the incredible performances from Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. And the look of the film, that dreary, bleak, oppressive atmosphere, was so good it got an Oscar nomination for cinematography. But what critics really latched onto was the moral ambiguity. The film forces you, the viewer, to ask yourself, what would I do if I were in Keller Dover's shoes? And that brings us right back to where we started. Keller is trapped underground, bleeding out. Loki is on the scene, just about to leave forever, and then he hears that whistle. So what does it actually mean? Well, there are two main schools of thought here. The first is that the ending is ambiguous on purpose. Cutting to black leaves us in suspense, just like the characters have been the whole time. The other argument, though, is for certainty. Come on, this is Detective Loki, the guy with the perfect record. There's no way he would just ignore a sound like that. And in fact, the director actually shot a scene of the rescue, but he cut it because he thought this ending was way more powerful. But here it is. This is the absolute key to the whole thing. It's not just any whistle. A little earlier in the movie, Loki was at the hospital and saw Anna Dover with her little red emergency whistle, the same one her dad has now. So when Loki hears that faint sound, you see his expression change. He doesn't just hear a noise, he recognizes it. He knows exactly what it is. So while all the clues tell us Keller is almost certainly found, the filmmakers chose to end on that moment of suspense for a really good reason. The sudden cut to black isn't really about Keller's physical fate. It's designed to leave us grappling with the movie's central, terrifying theme. The final question isn't, does Loki find Keller? It's, how far would you go? It forces you to sit with that disturbing thought long after the credits roll. And that's what makes the ending of Prisoners so unforgettable.